the game.
No, not even close. And you get to hold that map control, and which means that if you go for a quick third, because a lot of Zergs will go for a quick third without really having map control. They'll just have like a couple of Zerglings, and then like a single Zealot pushes out, and you're just like, oh, I gotta relinquish the Zelnaga towers, and then you make a couple of Zerglings to take it back. And by then, there's a like 4 or 5 gate push coming your way, and just like, oh, crap. But when you make those 12 Zerglings, you know, you could make them later and you'll be in a better economic position, but they're still very, very useful, even if they're not getting in there and doing the damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's really like a New Age Protoss thing where you drop an early second gateway, and like you forge fast expand and drop 2 gateways.
Yeah, the Kiwi Kaki style.
Yeah, it's like you chrono boost out like 5 Zealots and you just walk across the map, and the Zerg's like, well, I'm not in any danger right now, so he realizes he has nothing. And then he's like fighting your 5 Zealots with all his drones, and somehow it's kind of like the Ling run by.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I did not expect that, and now I'm screwed.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's so important to scout the front in ZVP.
Yeah.
Like, you have to spot those 2 gateways pretty early, too. And depending on the map, you either have to get down a quick spine crawler or just get, like, 30 Zerglings to hold off 5 Zealots. And it's so aggravating.
Especially at a time where you're thinking, like, this is the safe point in the game. I am going to drone super hard here and get my economy going. And it's just like, oh, man, I did not see that coming. Because you feel stupid when it happens, but it's such a good idea by Protoss. It's like a metagame move. But that's not happening right now, so...
No, well, not yet. I mean, CoLMVPTAiLS is going for a Forge Fast expand, so he could go into that double gate play. But it's not that much of a Korean style yet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say yet because, like, that's just really... I don't know. That's really aggressive, and usually Koreans love to go for that kind of aggressive play. viOlet, again, going for the 14-14. Pretty standard here from him. He's been doing it every single game. And, I mean, that's basically what you do as a Zerg versus a Protoss, unless you're someone crazy like Crazy Moving. Or Jix, who did it as well tonight.
Yep. Yeah, when Gix did it.
Yeah, I saw Jix do it.
Yeah, Gix was pretty good at it. But we do see... Nexus coming down. This was Tails map choice, and yes, I'm going to keep talking so I win that argument. It's going to be pretty interesting. This is the 3rd game of the semifinals, so they are tied 1-1. This is the semifinals, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, yeah, money's on the line here. This was Tails' choice. Again, Forge Fast Expand with a kind of open natural. Not quite as open as Metalopolis, but still, that same Zergling run by can work just as effectively here.
Yeah, definitely can. It's going to be a bit trickier, and as we see already, Tails here is going to be putting down a full wall off. He's going to add an extra pylon right about here, and then as the gateway finishes, he's going to put down a cybernetics core there to really get the full wall off. And he should be just fine. Meanwhile, that Overlord there getting a little bit out of position, a little too close to that cannon. Meanwhile, the probe does get found there by viOlet, so Tails not going to be able to get any kind of mid-game scout off.
Yeah, that's a great, those Zerglings have nothing else to do right now. I might as well just hop around the map and look for any sort of probes that are hiding. Any, sort of cannon rush or hiding a probe for a scout. You always want to do that as Zerg. It seems like such a small deal, but I'm telling you, Tails is not happy that he lost that probe. He wanted to get that scout off a bit later and wasn't able to, so kudos to viOlet. Those little things are really what make the Zergs in Korea so much better.
Yeah. I mean, and you, like you said, what else are your Zerglings doing? You should definitely just be sending them around to just find any pylons or probes that might be hanging near your base. And there's almost always one that is. And we see here Tails does manage to sneak out another probe, though, before the Speedlings can actually get into position. So he is going to get that mid-game scout off after all.
Yeah, good for him. He's, probe's taken the long way. This is really interesting. Really early evolution chamber, if I'm not mistaken. I guess he's going to go for some sort of mass upgrade. He's actually getting +1 missile attacks already. This is kind of an interesting build. I'm not really sure where he's going with this. Do you have any ideas?
I have no idea. No ideas. Like, my brain...
I am right. Like, that's like a weird time to get that, right?
It is. Yeah, I was actually expecting to see melee, +1 melee.
Me
and
too.
because if you're going for like a mass Zergling with maybe Infestors or Muta style, if you can get the jump on your opponent on upgrades, it's actually like super viable. Like Zerglings suddenly are really good against Zealots, and your opponent's like, what? What's happening? And it's all
Right.
because of those early upgrades. But since it's missile, I mean, the only thing that makes sense is he's going to go for like a Roach Hydra timing
Yeah, could
with
be.
+2. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense in my brain. And my
Yeah, but if he was going for that, I mean, he would have wanted to start the layer. I guess he starts it right now, so maybe he's got it timed out.
Well, if we look,
Perfectly
there's
here.
70 seconds until it's done, and about 70 seconds until +1's done. So he's gonna be
Yeah,
able to start +2 exactly as that layer finishes. And
I think you're correct.
yeah, that's the only. I don't know. It's the only thing that makes sense, you know. Maybe
Yeah.
it's gonna be a Roach Burrow timing instead of Roach Hydra, just like a tunneling claws. But Tails there, he actually has 3 cannons up, and that's because when he sent that first probe scout in a little earlier than he wanted to, he saw that there was still some gas being mined by viOlet. So he was like, huh. What are you up to? And he was just like, well, I'm going to put down a safety cannon. And, of course, that does slow down his macro. So he's at 47 probes versus the 52 drones of his opponent. And a bunch of lings actually getting made right now for viOlet.
Yeah, that's really
brain.
interesting. I'm not really sure. Maybe he's just anticipating some sort of push here. I do want to point out he's got some great Overlord spread. He may go for some sort of Nidus Worm as well. He's actually preparing for just about everything and dropping an Infestation Pit right away.
Dude, this hurts
What?
my brain. He's... Okay. All right.
Infested Terran
Yeah.
timing with +2?
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Really?
It's the Infested Terran timing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a strategy.
Destiny has been doing it forever. I'm not a big fan of Destiny, though I will admit that for like a month he was actually really good. And then I guess he just got too cocky and stopped practicing as much and started playing silly games.
Yeah, don't get me started on this. I'm sure we have some fans out in the chat. I don't want to offend anyone. We are going to see...
Fuck Destiny. There, it's done. It's over.
There we go. It's been done. The gauntlet has been thrown. We are seeing Pathogen Glands right away. I think you're right. +2 Infested Terran timing. I mean, that is a pretty kooky and cool build. Kind of cool to note also, I mean, I assume Destiny is the one who came up with it, so, you know, Korean Zergs possibly studying our North American compadres and stealing their builds. Always cool to see.
Yeah, why not? And I know he was laddering on the Korean server for a long time. So, you know, whatever. But, yeah, basically it's the tons and... But the difference is that Destiny usually goes for the double melee upgrades. So that his Zerglings are actually really good. And then he just, like, also puts a ton of Infested Terrans down. So a lot of gas getting saved up here for viOlet. He's already got 2 Infestors on the way. Make that 6. And,
yeah, and he's actually getting a Hydra Den as well, so it's going to be like a Infestor Hydra timing. I mean, at this point, I call this like a 2-base all-in from our Zerg player. He is taking a third as soon as I say that,
and
but...
a 4th.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, and then some really nice force fields from Tails did zone off a ton of Zerglings there that viOlet was actually trying to deny the third of Tails with.
Oh, wow, I'm sorry, I
So
missed
he did a
that,
good
buddy.
job. No, that's fine. It wasn't like, it's not anything that's game-changing, you know? It was like 12,
Right.
14 Zerglings that were trying to get a deny off, and if we look at the Nexus there, it is like at half health.
Oh, yeah,
but,
wow.
But, you know, it's not game-changing to lose 12, 14 Zerglings, not even close.
So viOlet's just kind of dropping a Roach Warren as well, so he's just kind of, you know, expanding his options. I did not realize, the thing that I guess blew my mind was, do Infested Terrans actually benefit from that attack? Because that is pretty cool.
Yeah, they do.
So he's
No,
also getting a
that's for sure.
Spire, so he's going to do this, like, attack where he's going to force his opponent to show him exactly what he has, and then he's probably going to pick his tech route accordingly. But this could actually do a ton of damage right now.
Oh yeah, and there goes the Infested Terrans. Now, the problem is that since he went for, like, Glial Reconstitution, +1 Carapace, and the Hydralisk Den, and now the Spire as well, he just doesn't even have close to enough Infestors to really make this work. And he didn't even use all the energy either. That was just such a fail execution of that plan.
Yeah, I'm so lost. I was so excited to see these like Infested Terrans doing 10 damage a shot, and I was gonna be like, this is gonna be the sickest thing ever. And then he just threw like 3 down and walked away. I was a little depressed, but yeah, he's actually switching into Roach Hydra, so we're gonna see some really old school Zerg style here. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, it won't be too bad, at least for the near future, as we see Tails is going for Blink. He does have a Templar Archives on the way, but he's not going to have Sonic Storm here for a while, so it does leave a window for Tails to attack. But, man, I'm just so disappointed, because that was such, like, a perfect, like, +2 timing, plus pathogen glands, and then he just, like, made all these other gas investments, only got 6 infestors instead of potentially, like, 9, 10. And
yeah, I'm really depressed because I was really excited to see that.
Dude,
and
infested
also,
Terrans are so good. They do so much damage. And with that +2 attack, like, it does stack. It's kind of like Broodlings and melee attack. Like, Broodlings get the plus melee upgrades and the plus carapace. And it's the same thing with the infested Terrans. They get plus carapace and plus missile attacks. So, like, it's so cool, and I've seen like players do it before. It can be so effective because of that high DPS. Like, you're trying to save your Nexus, and if you try to save it, well, you lose like your entire army, and you do tend to save it, but you lose your entire army to energy. You know?
Yeah, that's so. I mean, you can't get more cost efficient than that. And I do want to point out, our Protoss player is looking to be in great shape. He is ahead on supply, has a great economy. The only thing he's lacking are Colossus, which are just, you know, the anti-Roach Hydra, but he's going to be okay because he's going to have more than enough time to get Storm up before.
Well, not just that. He's got his robotics bay on the way and 2 robotics facilities.
Oh, so, wow. So, yeah.
Yeah. And he's going to have +2/+2 very soon as well. So he's got those upgrades on the way. And viOlet here does have his Spire up. He's got his Hive coming. And I'm thinking maybe he's just going to go, like, straight into Broodlords or something. Like, because he's not going to... Like, you're not going to go Roach, Hydra, Infestor, Corruptor at this late stage of the game. And I know it's only the 16-minute mark, but since these two players have basically been sitting back, and except for that one little, like, it ended up not being an all-in attack because he was teching behind it instead of making it an all-in. So, like, these guys have just been macroing like crazy. We got 79 probes versus 76 drones.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Broodlords this early in the game can be really devastating. But like you said, both players macroing so well. Protoss is actually almost maxed as well, getting a ton of extra gateways. We're going to see quite the epic battle once these two players finally meet.
Yeah, there come the Corruptors. We've got +3 missile attacks, +2 carapace on the way. And I really think we're going to see some Broodlords, because there's no way he can engage up this narrow ramp, like, without Broodlords. That would just be such a fail move. He might even want to get, like, 1 Ultralisk, just so you can break down force fields.
Yeah, viOlet's scaring me a bit here, actually going for this, and some great force fields cut off. Not as many roaches as he could have, but, I mean, those are free roaches right now. And viOlet, realizing his mistake, pulls back, but he just, you know, threw away a couple units he didn't have to.
It's not the end of the world. I think he was kind of planning on doing that because he does have a ton of Corruptors out, and he needed to clear some supply to make Broodlords. And now he's actually, like, about perfect to make those Broodlords. Like, he's got 23 supply there, and as we see, he gets almost maxed out there making those 9 Broodlords.
Yeah, no, that's true. I kind of realized it as I was saying it, but didn't want to make myself look like an idiot, so I just went with it. Yeah, he's gonna get the Broodlord.
I had to make you look like an idiot.
No, you're completely right. I was wrong there. He was just throwing away those roaches to get those Broodlords, and he's gonna have a pretty sexy army. But Tails has a pretty sexy army with 3/3. He's gonna at least have the attack done by the time they engage. Will probably be pretty close to having armor as well. So. Can't get much more of a death ball than Tails has right now. And,
this is brutal right now because viOlet can't really fall back because he's got Hydras and Roaches, and they're both or rather the Hydras and Infestors, they're so slow so they can't fall back, and he's not engaging with his Broodlords just yet. They are coming now from the top. Some big fungal growths do go down though, and viOlet here might just barely be able to do this. I don't know, it's going to be so close here. Most of the Stalkers have been taken out though, Bonk.
Yeah, I mean, he has a great reinforcement round. Stalkers warped in here and coming to the engagement. But really, if he had just engaged that correctly, if viOlet had just stayed a little bit farther back, he would have crushed the Protoss army. We looked at how close that was. I mean, those Broodlords came in so late to the engagement there. If he had brought his entire army as one attacking force, he would have devastated Tails. But here goes Tails for another attack.
Well, here's the thing. viOlet is, like, a good thing for him that Tails fell back there, because his Roaches were arriving, like, late to the party, and it wasn't... This time it was the Roaches, not the Broodlords, who were late, and, you know, they're probably both really angry at each other, and it's just going to cause further lateness in the future, because they're just going to spite each other. But,
Very true.
but I
Excellent
mean,
commentary.
like, Tails there almost took out a ton of Broodlords for free. And there's the huge blink coming forward, and he is focusing down the Broodlords. The Roach is doing a lot of damage on the Broodlords here, starting to fall back. 4 of them do survive. Big Fungals going down, and it looks like the Stalkers